What's up, everybody? It's your boy Proftrof. Oh fuck, one sec. Okay, good start. Anyway, it's your boy. Welcome back. We're gonna be checking another Count Dankula video. This is a little bit weird. This is not a Mad Lads video, okay? This is a. You are not allowed to see this man's face. It's a British thing, I think. It's supposed to be corruption or some shit. I wish I was I guess.
What if I told you that somewhere in Britain is a man, and the British government do not want you to know what this man looks like, and if you take a picture of this man and show it to anyone, you'll go to prison? Seems a little bit extreme, doesn't it?
Can you do that shit?
Why would the British government send you to prison just for showing people what this man looks like? But more importantly, why does the British government not want anyone knowing what this man looks like? It has its reasons.
Why did he engage the creep mode over there? Like, it has its reasons. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so I guess he's gonna show us the person that the British government doesn't want us to see.
But before we get into the mad lad, yes, it is, in fact, your boy, Raid Shadow Legends. In 93, and a 2-year-old boy named James Patrick Bulger disappears from the new
Bulger?
Strand shopping centre in Liverpool, England. The police immediately begin a search for the boy, but unfortunately, 2 days later, they find James Bulger's mutilated body lying on train tracks. At first, the police thought that this poor kid had just wandered away from his mother, got lost, and wandered onto the train tracks where he was hit by an oncoming train. But the autopsy revealed that this was no accident. This was murder. Now, for anyone that is a little bit squeamish, I would advise that you just skip ahead in the video a little bit, because what I'm about to describe is pretty fucking brutal. The autopsy revealed that 2-year-old James Bulger had blue modelling paint poured into his eyes. He had been kicked, punched and stomped on. He had been pelted with bricks. Batteries were shoved in his mouth. Batteries were shoved up his anus. And a 22-pound railway fish plate was dropped on his head, giving him 10 skull fractures and finally killing him. His body was then laid across train tracks where it was cut in half by an oncoming train. The police began to search for Bulger's killer, so they examined the CCTV footage of the Strand shopping centre, and while examining the footage they spotted James Bulger in the company of what the police believed to be 2 men, and James Bulger was holding one of their hands as they led him out of the shopping centre. The police managed to find the 2 men, and when the police tracked them down and arrested them, the police were shocked. The whole nation was shocked, because it wasn't 2 men. It was 2 boys. 2 10-year-old boys.
Hey, listen, I don't give a fuck how old you are. Prison for life, torture, murder these motherfucking little ass, disgusting individuals. I don't give a fuck how old you is. If you do this fucked up shit, I don't give a fuck if you're a 5-year-old.
2 10-year-old boys were the ones who inflicted that horrific torture I described earlier on a 2-year-old child. And their names were Robert Thompson and John Venables. The 2 boys were arrested, charged with murder, and the trial started. But the people of Merseyside were absolutely furious. They were out for blood, and any time they found out where the 2 suspects were being held, they came out in force, surrounded the building, and started rioting. This was not your standard angry crowd. This was a fucking lynch mob. These people literally wanted to kill
Let them go. Let them go into the crowd,
these
please.
two boys. The boys were both found guilty and sentenced to prison at Her Majesty's pleasure. And what that means is basically
A legal term of art referencing to the indeterminate or undetermined length of service for certified appointed officials of the indeterminate sentence. What the use normal words, you can't.
the only way that you are getting out of jail is if a judge says you can get out. That's the way At Her Majesty's pleasure works. There is no set time behind bars, there's no parole board, there's no hearing. They can keep you in prison for the rest of your life if they want to.
Please do.
The only way that you are getting out is if a judge says you can get out, or if the Queen herself says that you can get out. Because
Was that old bat still alive?
the Queen has the power to commute sentences. Your Highness. You know? Just saying. I'm a Fenian though. I hope that doesn't make it awkward. And in 2001, when both the boys had turned 18, that's exactly what happened. After
What
just
happened?
8 years behind bars,
Oh,
it was
yo, you gotta be fucking kidding me. No way they let them go, right?
ruled that the two boys no longer posed any threat
Britain, what the fuck? England, what the fuck is wrong with you?
to public safety, and they were released.
Okay, please tell me the story ends with someone stomping their fucking brains in.
And the country was fucking furious about that.
Thank God it was.
And the lynch mobs came back.
Yeah, go lynch
And the
mobs.
lynch mobs were gonna
When the story makes you root for the lynch mobs.
kill them.
What?
And the lynch mobs were gonna kill them.
Yes!
Which is what got the ball rolling for what this video is about.
Okay.
Whether they like it or not, the justice system has a duty of care for people released from their custody. Even child killers. Or in this case, child killers. So the justice system had to put measures in place to make sure...
Okay, listen. The problem with this is that it's not just a murder, okay? They did not just kill the kid. They fucking tortured him. There is different to someone just coming up to you and blasting you in the face with a fucking pistol. Okay, you're gonna die. It's not that bad, right? You probably not ain't gonna feel shit. But if someone tortures you for that, it's a little more fucked up.
so that no harm could come to Thompson or Venables. So they
Sure.
were both given new identities at great cost to the taxpayer and released back into the public. The point of the new identities was so vigilantes couldn't find the two boys and dish out some mob justice, which I believe would have been to hang both of them from a tree. Now these boys had been locked up since they were 10 years old, so they had hit puberty, they had grown up, and they now looked drastically different from what they once looked like, which would have helped them avoid detection under their new identities. The courts, however, knew that if any information about what these two men now
Someone
looked
leaked it.
like got out into the public, then vigilantes would be able to track them down and dish out some mob justice. So the courts decided to do something drastic, something never done before in the history of the UK legal justice system. In 2001, when the killers were released, Judge Elizabeth Butler Sloss passed a global High Court injunction. That's a global High Court injunction, worldwide, on any and all information relating to Robert Thompson and John Venables. It reads as follows. It is illegal to share any depiction, image in any form, photograph, film or voice recording made or taken on or after 18th of February 1993, which purports to be of John Venables or Robert Thompson, or any description which purports to be of their physical appearance, voices or accents at any time since that date. It goes even further. It is illegal to share...
Elizabeth, you's a bitch, okay? You's a bitch. Fuck you,
there
Elizabeth.
any information purporting to identify any person as having formerly been known as the claimants, or any information purporting to describe the past, present, or future whereabouts, including alleged residential or work addresses and telephone numbers. And this is communication through any medium, not just online, even speech. I mean, if I'm just sitting down in a pub talking to you and I tell you any of this information, that's illegal. That's illegal. That is a crime. If I even tell you how much John Venables weighs, if I even tell you his weight, that is a physical description.
That's so
And
stupid.
I would be committing a crime.
That is so stupid.
And I would be arrested for that. There were two reasons for this unprecedented injunction. The first reason being the one we described before, that the justice system has a duty of care for those released from its custody, and it wants to prevent any information about the current descriptions of Robert Thompson and John Venables falling into the hands of vigilantes who will then track them down and dish out some mob justice. The second reason was to prevent innocent people from being accused of being John Venables and Robert Thompson, because that would then put their lives in danger, and that's something that has actually happened a great many times.
Oof.
The problem is there are pictures out there.
Oh.
There are pictures out there. Now, how did that happen? Well, let me explain. Upon being released and getting his new identity, Robert Thompson has done these
By the way, is he wearing a hentai shirt? Oh no, it's a... Or is it a Star Wars shirt? I
smart
can't tell.
thing and laid completely low, at least as far as we know. John Venables, however, has been a complete fucking idiot and has blown his cover several times. Whenever John Venables was given a new identity, he would be moved to a different area. And whenever John Venables...
One thing from the story that I fail to understand, why are they going to such extreme lengths to help these individuals? Okay, why? Like, this must cost a lot of money to change someone's identity, move them, give them up.
got into this area, he did the same thing that any of us would do if we moved to a new area where we didn't really know anyone. We would start making a bunch of friends. And then ultimately, John Venables would always blow his cover. And then all of his new friends would be extremely shocked to realise that this John Smith that they had been hanging around with for ages, that they'd been going to the pub with, that they'd been going to dinner with, who had been at their weddings, was none other than child killer John Venables. The reason that John Venables' cover kept being blown was a number of things. On 2 occasions, he just flat out told his friends who he really was. Like, that must have been an awkward conversation. Can you imagine how awkward that conversation must have been? Alright, man, I've got something that I need to confess to you. Are you sleeping with my wife? What? No! Jesus Christ, no!
Worse.
No, I'm not sleeping with your wife. I would never do something like that. I did kill a child, though. In 2010, Venables' cover was once again blown.
2000
But
what?
this... In 2010, Venables...
10. That's like 7 years after he was released, some shit. I still
cover
can't believe they only fucking stayed in prison for 8 years.
was once again blown. But this time it was just because people in his area simply managed to figure out who he was. Venables, knowing that he was in danger, contacted the police, told them that his cover was blown, and they had to come and pick him up right away. So the police got to his house very fast, and upon entering his house, the police...
I just want you all to think about this. Like, England, your police are bitches to child killers. They're like, hey, I fucked up, come pick me up. I need a new identity. Police like, okay, here we come.
Police found John Venables in the middle of trying to destroy his hard drives. The police found this very suspicious and seized the hard drives from him. Upon examination, the police discovered that the hard drives contained thousands of images of child porn.
Wow.
And John
Wow. Who is... How surprised we are that the piece of shit that did such a fucked up crime is doing fucked up shit. Who would have thought? Oh no.
Venables went back to jail. He was released from that sentence in 2013 and was
3
given
years.
yet another
3 years.
new identity at another huge cost to the taxpayer. But in 2017, he was caught with child porn again, as well as a child grooming manual that teaches you how to groom children. And he was sent back to prison for that. And he is still currently in prison right.
Child grooming manual. Was the person that wrote the child grooming manual also given a new identity in England? That's my question for y'all. Does he have like 5 pseudonyms or whatever you call that shit in English that he writes different child grooming manuals in? Child grooming manual 1, child grooming manual 2. God
Right
damn
now
it, England.
for that offence, but he's due to be released at some point this year. So why am I telling you about all of these instances of his cover being blown? It's because they all play a key factor in how pictures of him got out into the public. John Venables was obviously completely banned from any kind of social media because the courts didn't want him putting pictures of himself up there on the internet. But remember what I said earlier, where whenever John Venables would move to a new area, he would make a bunch of friends? Well, what do friends very often do together? Take selfies. His friends would all take pictures of them all eating together, drinking together, having fun days out, you know, the exact same type of things that we do with our own friends. And these friends would then post these pictures on their own social media accounts, you know, their own Facebooks, their own Twitters. And any time John Venables' cover was blown and people found out what area he was in and who he was hanging out with, people would then go on to the social media accounts of who he was hanging out with and download all the pictures. Every time there was a leak of pictures, the police would go into overdrive and completely scrubbing them from everywhere. They would serve injunctions against websites for hosting the pictures,
Injunctions.
and they would arrest people for sharing the pictures. Even actively, still to this day, the British government goes out of its way to scrub all of these pictures out of existence.
Yeah, we're too worried about fucking knives in public and now pictures of child killers. England. God damn it, England.
Because they don't want you to see this man's face. I'm going to go into some examples of legal actions taken by the police to censor these images. Now, not all of these examples are linked to the global injunction, but they do relate to freedom of speech in some way. In April 2007, documents released under the Freedom of Information Act confirmed that the Home Office had spent £13,000 on an injunction to prevent a foreign magazine from revealing the new identities of Thompson and Venables. In April 2010...
Wait. In plain English, they bribed the magazine so that they don't release it. The pictures. That's what that says, I'm pretty sure, right?
Revealing the new identities of Thompson and Venables. In April 2010, a 19-year-old man from the Isle of Man was given a 3-month suspended prison sentence for falsely claiming in a Facebook message that one of his former colleagues was Robert Thompson.
Yeah, that dude served a longer prison sentence than the child killer. How does that make y'all feel?
In passing sentence, Deputy High Bailiff Alistair Montgomery said that the teenager had put that person at significant risk of serious harm and in a perilous position by making the allegation. In March 2012, a 26-year-old man from Chorley, Lancashire was arrested after allegedly setting up a Facebook group with the title, "What Happened to Jamie Bulger Was Fucking Hilarious." The man's computer was seized for further investigations. Oh, you spicy boy. But you all know how I feel about people being arrested for causing offence. On 25th of February 2013, the Attorney General's office announced that it was instituting contempt of court charges against several people who had allegedly published photographs online showing Thompson or Venables as adults. A spokesman commented, "There are many different images circulating online claiming to be of Venables or Thompson. Potentially innocent individuals may be wrongly identified as being one of these two men and placed in danger. The order and its enforcement is therefore intended to protect not only Venables and Thompson, but also those members of the public who have been incorrectly identified as being one of the two men." On 26 April 2013, two men received suspended jail sentences of 9 months after admitting to contempt of court by publishing photographs which they claimed to be of Venables and Thompson on Facebook and Twitter. The posts were seen by 24,000 people. According to BBC legal correspondent Clive Coleman, the purpose of the prosecution was to ensure that the public was aware that internet users were also subject to the law of contempt. On 27th November 2013, a man from Liverpool received a 14-month suspended prison sentence for posting images on Twitter claiming to show Venables. On 14th July 2016, a woman from Margate in Kent was jailed for 3 years after sending Twitter messages to Bulger's mother in which she posed as one of his killers and his ghost. The sentence was reduced to 2.5.
She posted in which she posed as one of his killers and his ghost. Hey, bet you deserve that shit. Hope you got
years on appeal. No, that is fucking sick. That is actually a really fucking sick thing to do. Like, I'll admit, I'll make jokes. I'll be a spicy boy. I'll be a right edgy meme star. But one of the things that I probably wouldn't do is make jokes about a dead 2-year-old to the dead 2-year-old's mother. Fuck me. This is going to be the one.
It's okay. That bitch probably enjoyed her 2.5 years in prison. How they slammed her face against the wall a couple times a day.
One of the few times you'll ever hear me say this. That's reprehensible.
Fucking damn it. This video
that is me. Fucked. That's actually disgusting. Do you want to know one of the things that really wears you down, being a free speech advocate? That you need to defend the speech rights of pieces of shit like this.
True.
Fucking hell.
I mean, I'm down for saying all types of shit, okay? I'm down for that. But some of these fucking degenerates.
This woman shouldn't have gone to jail. She still has rights, just like everyone else. But also, fuck her. Fuck that bitch. Fucking waste of semen. On 31st of January 2019, a man and a woman pleaded guilty to 8 contempt of court offences at the High Court after they admitted posting photos on social media that they claimed identified Venables. Both received suspended prison sentences.
What does that
This
mean?
one's probably the most famous case. On the 13th of March 2019, actress Tina Malone, who plays Mimi Maguire on the TV show Shameless, was given an 8-month suspended prison sentence for posting Venables' identity on Facebook.
His actual identity?
In January 2020, so just this year, a 53-year-old woman from Ammanford received a prison sentence of 8 months, suspended for 15 months. In November 2017, she had published an alleged photograph of Venables on Facebook with the advice, "Share this as much as possible." Lord Justice David said that the offence was close to the line for an immediate prison sentence, but suspended the sentence after an early admission of guilt and remorse by the woman. So over the years...
Wait, okay, I need help. What does this mean? So she received a prison sentence of 8 months, suspended for 15. What does that mean?
Admission of guilt and remorse by the woman.
Suspended.
So over the years, a lot of people have gotten into serious trouble for posting pictures of John Venables, because the British government does not want you to know what he looks like. You are banned from knowing what this man looks like. Anytime these pictures get posted anywhere, as soon as the British government is made aware of it, they take the pictures down. For example...
I wonder why they're protected so much. Like, their parents must have some fucking connections or some shit. Like, I doubt any fucking normal prisoner would get this fucking special, treatment as much as these two pieces of shits are getting. Like, oh, their parents or someone in their family line must have some fucking high connections or something. If Britain does this for all their child killers, goddamn, y'all is fucked.
Let's look at Twitter now. If you've got a Twitter account, you've probably
Nope.
seen these messages. This tweet is no longer available. This tweet violated the Twitter rules about glorifying violence, or just this tweet violated the Twitter rules. I'm very, very used to seeing that one underneath
sure.
all of my tweets. You guys need to calm down. But there is a different type of Twitter removal message that you probably haven't seen.
Oh.
And you'll find this type of removal message on Twitter accounts that were made specifically for posting pictures of John Venables, though those accounts really don't last very long. But if you do manage to find one before it gets taken down, instead of seeing those standard messages, what you will see instead is this. This tweet from @JohnVenablesPics has been withheld in United Kingdom in response to a legal demand. That's a new one. That's a new one, isn't it? Social media companies, even if they aren't based in the UK, legally have to take these pictures down.
Wow.
Because it's a global injunction. And that means everyone. However, pictures of John Venables are out there. We know this because shit tons of people have been arrested for posting them. But there are a few things that I would like to say for the sake of legality and for the sake of my own and especially my legal team's mental well-being. I am not going to tell you where to find these pictures. I'm not going to tell you
Probably not
how
that hard
to
to
find
find,
these
okay.
pictures. I am not going to describe the pictures to you. I am not going to tell you to download, post or share these pictures. I do not encourage anyone in any way to violate the global injunction, especially if you're from Britain. I know that after this video, some people are going to be edgy boys and post the pictures underneath some of my tweets. Don't do that, especially if you're from Britain. You will be arrested for it. And even if you're from America, you're probably going to lose your Twitter account if you do that. So I strongly advise that
probably a
nobody
blessing.
break the global injunction, right? Don't do it. And I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, another thing. How does a global injunction even work? Like, how do you force another country to do something? Like if tomorrow America decided to post the pictures, like, what do they just contact America, be like, hey, yo, we did the global shit. You're not supposed to do this shit. Can you arrest this person for us
Or
and
do
send them
anything
over?
that violates the global injunction, because I'm starting to get pretty fucking sick of being arrested for saying stuff.
How many times
The
has he been
reason that
arrested?
these pictures are still out there, though, is because somewhere out there in the world there is an amazing place called America, where they have this amazing thing called the First Amendment. So Americans can share these pictures among themselves as much as they want, while laughing at the UK's fucking stupid speech laws. I realise that a lot of British people feel like I might be insulting their intelligence a little bit by explaining the James Bulger case. That was just for the benefit of anyone not from Britain. I know that if you're from Britain, you've heard about the James Bulger case. I mean, even though this was about 30 years ago,
So is
it
that
happened,
famous over there?
there's been constant articles written about it ever since. I mean, everyone in Britain knows about it. If you're from Britain, you've heard the names Robert Thompson and John Venables. You know it. This description and me going through everything was just for the benefit of people who might not be from here, who are lucky not to be from here. So why didn't I make a mad lad out of this? Because fuck John Venables,
Yeah.
that's why.
Who's the mad lad
A
here?
paedophile child killer? Nah, you don't get mad lad.
No.
Nah.
Fuck
You don't get
no.
mad lad. I mean, General Butt Naked got his purely because the sheer absurdity factor of his actions made it somewhat amusing, right? But John Venables, nah, he's a piece of shit. Nah, You don't get mad, lad. Burn. The reason I wanted to make
Please
this
do.
video wasn't even to make
Please.
John Venables, the subject of it. The thing that I found fascinating was the censorship
True, that's
aspect
fucked
of
up.
it. That's the
That's
part
very
that I
fucked
found
up.
really interesting. The fact that the British government would go so far and invest so much money and so much time in completely erasing a person. I just find the whole thing
Two people.
interesting. I mean,
I
for
just
example,
want two.
if you post child porn, you're going to jail. And you'll deserve it. But that's just something we all naturally understand. But I've seen the pictures of John Venables. And they're just normal pictures that any group of friends would take. They're things that just wouldn't look out of place at all on a Facebook timeline. Which is why I just find it mind-blowing that I could go to jail if I posted these completely normal, mundane pictures just because they contain a certain man. I just find it amazing that for almost 20 years the British government has invested so much effort, time and money in making sure that no one knows what this man looks like, because you're not allowed to know what he looks like. A man that the British government doesn't want you to see. There is new merch. Yes, there is new merch.
What is that?
I am moving my merch store.
What is that shirt, my guy? What? I can't. Anyway, I gotta be honest, this video pissed me off a little bit. I can't believe y'all doing this shit. Just fucking take them out back and blow their brains out or some shit. What the fuck? Spending money on these disgusting individuals, reformed after 8 years in prison? Yeah, fuck no. This is very disgusting. I found this annoying. I wonder what do y'all think? What do y'all think about these two individuals? What should they have gotten? What do you think a sentence for a child murderer and torturer should be? Even though they're a child, doesn't matter, I don't think. Anyway, let me know that in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Have a nice fucking day.